everybody, welcome to this afternoon's events. I know a lot of you came here to see stuff rather than to hear from people, and you'll be glad to hear that I'm about to introduce a demonstration, because that's what's happening this afternoon. We're going to go around a bunch of the different amazing stall holders, people with machinery, other kind of farming innovations, and they're going to show you what they're up to. And the first one is Brock Wheels and Tyres, who are going to talk all about minimising soil compaction, and I'm going to hand over to Will Brock. Thank you very much, and it's all happening over here.
Thanks, Tom, very much indeed. So what I'd like to talk about this afternoon is what we've been doing for PX Farms here, what makes PX Farms farming operation different to our conventional advice. So normally we're getting people phoning up, they want a requirement for wheels and tyres. First question we're always asking to get the right recommendation is what's the mix between road and field use. What we're finding is that as distances get bigger, VF tyres aren't the right solution every time, but they're the right solution many times. So first question, road and field use. If on a road tyre we want hard rubber so it lasts long. On a field tyre we want soft rubber so we can get the lowest possible pressure. We then look at the different options, different pressures that are available to us. And when we've got like-for-like pressures, we choose the narrowest tyre available. The idea being every time in our recommendation, we're looking to get the lowest amount of area trampled on at the lowest possible pressure. And if we can achieve that, if we can get pressures down below 1 bar on a drilling tyre, we can see yield increases often up to 25% in the areas where the wheels are travelling. Multiply that out across your farm acreage and you've got some massive numbers. Now on PX Farms here we've got 2 or 3 different scenarios. One is that he has very grip equipment on his tractors. By having... Sorry Tom. Everyone hearing now? So by having very grip on his tractors, he can get the optimum pressure in the wheel every time. He can have hard pressure on the road, he can have low pressure in the field, so he's getting the best of yields. What we also find is that because he's got efficient weighing facilities, we can get the right pressure every time. And just getting the right pressure in your tyres, again, will give you up to 10% saving on fuel, up to 10% saving in time because you get further faster and you also protect the health of your tyres. In his control traffic, this is where the difference comes. You'll find that James has many wide tyres about, and behind us here, behind this tractor, we've got a set of 1100 wide wheels. In control traffic, where the gains are massive, James will tell you his own statistics, but we're looking at fuel savings of about 13% by being controlled traffic, chemical savings of about 6%. But at the beginning of the season, you do need a wide wheel because you're always running in the same pathway. There is a risk of ruts getting deeper and deeper over time. So we're supplying wide wheels for James, which you'll see on his tractors around the yard, quite a few 900 wide, and behind me the 1100 wide wheels. So we're doing the same on the self-propelled sprayers, where we're looking at VF Solutions 710 wide, and we're trying to see if we can get wider still on the sprayers that are coming later this year. We've also spent time with James looking at what the right tyres are for concrete. We're experimenting with his forklift, what is and the success criteria on concrete is a bit different. We're then looking at what is the cost per millimetre of wear so that we can work out what is the cheapest tyre to run over a period of time. We've also looked at wide wheels on his seed carts, where you can get a lot of compaction from trailed implements. Little word about what we do at BWT. If you have the right tractor with the wrong wheels, we'd like to think we're a knowledge-based provider where we look at solutions for differing problems. We don't tend to do much in replacement tyres, we don't tend to do much in implement wheels. But if it's a knowledge-based sale and you want to discuss pressures, you want to discuss optimization, how you can save fuel, increase yield, save time on your farm, we'd absolutely be glad to speak to you. On the stand today, we've got a set of weigh scales. It's something that we've identified as a bit of a lack in the market, that in advising on pressure, we can't do it efficiently. We can't get the right pressure for a tyre without knowing exactly what the weight is. You need to know weight for three main reasons. One, it has to be right for the technical data of your tyre. You have to be running at the right pressure. You also have to have the right front and rear distribution to get the correct pressure on the ground and to make sure the power of the tractor is being transferred equally. And we also have to have the right amount of ballast. I get a lot of requests from people saying they want a bigger tyre, taller tyre to get better grip. Grip typically comes from getting weight right rather than tyre diameter. So in high draft we're looking upwards of 50 kilos of horsepower, and then we're looking to reduce it down to about 35 for road transport and low torque applications. So we can talk to you about the scales here, and Carson, if you want to just press the button. So at the moment we've got two different weights on the scales here. We've got 2.2 on the front and we've got 3 tons on the rear. Now Tom, if you could just lift the front linkage for us. This will be a very brief demonstration. Carson, if you want to pop round the other side, we can probably do it manually on the front linkage. Oh, there we are. So what we see happening here is that even though the front weight we've weighed off at about 1,500 kilos, when we look at total weight with weight down and total weight with weight up, but the amount being transferred to the front wheel is significantly more than half of that, and it is also taking weight off the back axle as we do it. So when we're doing a weigh off, we need to make sure the tyres cope with the maximum weight and the minimum weight. And one critical thing to look at is that tyres are always loaded up to the minimum weight in the data chart, otherwise you get premature wear in your tyres. They need to have the right amount of weight for the bottom of the chart. I hope people are interested in scales. Be glad to talk about how they can help on your farm. Anything knowledge based that we can do to help you farm successfully, as James has been doing, and we really owe our thanks to James for putting this all on today. The only other thing we have on the stand here today is a wheel carter. We've had a huge amount of interest in it. If people want to change wheels safely, it does have a couple of innovative features. One, that you can adjust the wheel on the fly to get the studs lined up, and also there's a strap on the hoop over the top so you can get it under mud guards, and we've got a special deal on those today. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to hear them. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much indeed, Will. We have another demonstration starting at 1:45, which is all about sprays and spray stores and spray machinery. And maybe someone will tell me which direction that is in, because I don't know that direction, apparently. Just here, this shed there. Sorry, this is the spray store, isn't it? It's right here. So that means we're not moving anything. But that's due at 1:45, so you've got a few minutes to digest what you've heard. Thank you. key word here, spray store design and recycling and waste for income. Yes, you're going to learn how to earn money if you turn up at this event. And we've got some great speakers. We've got John Gadsby from ADAS, Dan Fenterman from D&H, and we also have James from Marden Bailers. And we're going to start off with ADAS John. That's right, is it? I think if you're too far towards the end of this hall, you may not hear it. So kind of split the difference if you're in the shed. But I'm now going to hand over to John. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Oh, that's echoey, isn't it? So yes, a quick look at sprayer store design. As ADAS, we do quite a lot of this. We don't do very many of this size, as you can imagine, but the principles are largely the same. So what James was particularly looking for was the opportunity to get sprayers through the shed quickly and back out to the field. We've all heard that this morning regarding getting efficiency. Big kit, it's a daft thing. Sprayers spend an awful lot of their time driving up and down the road and in a shed being filled up with chemical. So the idea very much was to make this as efficient as possible. In terms of the environmental side of building a sprayer store, we need to make sure that if we have a problem, we capture whatever we spill. Conversation with James when we started designing this was, where do you stop? How big a sprayer is going to be in 10, 12 years' time? But we decided to draw a line at 3,000 litre sprayers and to look at about 7,000 litres of storage of chemicals, which we think is probably quite over the top, because very keen here on just-in-time delivery. So chemical comes in and they spray it, and they aimed not to have any part cans. Walked in here with James the other week and there were some part cans, and he said, well, we've failed there. We should be working to not carrying all this chemical over. The other consideration there is, if you're carrying a lot of chemical over the winter, you need to think about keeping it warm. Again, the idea here is that the shed will keep the frost off the sprayers, but they'll fill them with liquid fert, and the chemical will be stored away in a smaller container if there's any left over. So chemical store requires 110% of the maximum volume stored of bunding, and in this shed we've actually achieved about 10,000 cube of bunding, made up from the floor, which has got a 2-inch fall. There's then a slot drain with a 6-inch drain pipe underneath it, and then a couple of silt traps and the holding tank in front of the biofilter. So we've got more than we need there in that 10 cube. The sprayers aren't going to be washed in the shed. That was never James's intention, and as I always say to people, you don't wash your car in the garage. Why would you want to wash your sprayer in the shed? So this is the drains and the biofilter are to cope with spillages, a catastrophic failure, and in this case, because of the baler, anything that runs out of the baler, because stuff's triple winced on the induction bowls, and then they're lobbed into the baler, and that can then run into the drain down the middle. Other things really consider ideal design here. We've got a drive-through system. We looked at putting shelves up. I don't know where James is with shelves at the moment, but I think the conclusion was that actually most of the stuff comes on a pallet, stays on a pallet, or is an IBC. So just space to drop a pallet off is as useful as a load of shelving. There is some PPE storage and the like in here as well. So yeah, that in gist is the sprayer store. If I can find Dan, he will now explain to you how the biofilter works.
Thank you very much. So we got involved in the whole sort of design process, and James wanted to have the peace of mind that any spills or mixing from the tanks that got on the floor was handled correctly, and there was no risk of pollution from that. So what we've been able to achieve is the biofilter system. The biofilter system is recommended by the Environment Agency for up to 15,000 litres of solution per annum, which in this instance is well within its capabilities, and it's designed to capture any solution that comes onto the floor of the shed here and goes through a aerobic process, which is the boxes stacked right in the back of the shed there, and that enables the herbicides and pesticides in the water to break down naturally, and become inert and then can be spread back on the ground. So the biomix in the boxes is straw, compost and topsoil. It's a very simple science, but the straw is there for the pesticides and herbicides to lock onto. The bacteria comes in from the topsoil that's in there, and then the compost is there to help the whole mix stay moist. That is then broken down over a very short period of time, and then by which time in 3 stages, and then by which time it can then be spread back on the ground as pesticide and herbicide free. It's very, very effective. It's been developed by ADAS some years ago and is well proven on many farms. Just got a few questions here that come up regularly when we're talking to farmers about a biofilter. I've kind of covered real quickly what a biofilter is. If you're interested in more information, by all means come and see us. We're standing at the back of the shed here, and we can certainly run through it in more detail. But one question that a lot of farmers ask is, do we need one? The other one is, do I need to install it, or can I build one myself? And is there what happens to all the solution that comes out of it at the end, i.e. the mix? How long does that last, and what do I do with it? So just briefly, to run over those real quickly, whether you need one or not is whether you want peace of mind or not. It's all very well to say, well, we wash out in the field and so on, but over a very high percentage of contamination in waterways comes from the point source on the farm. I'm sure you'll be able to back me up on that as well. I think it's over 60% of contamination found in waterways can be traced back to the source in the farm where they're actually mixing and handling the chemicals. So it's really, really important we take that area seriously. And what the biofilter does is it gives you that peace of mind that that is being handled even when you're not there. Whether you can build one yourself, absolutely. You know, there's many people here that would have seen and can build similar systems utilizing IBCs, etc. And I would always say that just count the cost of what we call peace of mind. What you're looking for is to make sure that that is going to last the test of time and be there working day and night. And that's what the biofilter will do for you in its system that we've got here. So this came to farm straight off the back of the lorry and was able to be installed very, very quickly, connected to the underground tanks, and runs without any further issues and will continue to run. As I say, the biomix itself, a lot of people will ask how long that will last. The biomix itself is recommended for changing every 4 or 5 years. As I say, it's a mixture of straw, compost and topsoil, and this is but when it is taken out of the boxes, we don't know what the residue of chemical is in the mix. So they recommend that it's put on a non-permeable surface for 12 months, sheeted over so there's not any direct rainfall runoff from it. And that can then break down over a 12-month period, and then it's safe to dispose like any other organic matter on the field. So there's no further cost from the actual disposal of the system. It is a completely self-contained system designed to keep working and keep removing pesticides and herbicides from water so that they're safe to be disposed back on the ground. I think that's probably about all on the BioBox system, if there's anything you'd like to cover off, Sam. Very good. Over to Marden.
Hi there, James from Marden Balers. A couple of months ago, James Peck contacted us, Marden Balers, and said, I need an agricultural baler for my waste. We have installed one of our balers you might have seen on his YouTube channel about a couple of weeks ago, and I would like to come and walk down here and show you guys around the baler if that's okay. James had a mountain of cardboard and pesticide bottles that he was just storing in his containers, roll-on, roll-off containers. Now, we sold James one of our Marden Rampack semi-auto balers. If you'd like to come with me. So, we installed this about a month ago. James' team will spray up, will spray the boxes that we put in, and they'll be filled into the top of the hopper with a telehandler. Baler will bale and make a size bale, which now he can sell to a